Can you hear me on Zoom? Stephen, can you hear me all right?
Yes, very good.
Good. Excellent. We have liftoff. So this is the end of what we rabbis call autumn maneuvers. So this is our last service for the High Holy Days, and of course it's our total delight to be honoring Hannah and Linda again. We had a dress rehearsal last night, and this is the real morning thing. So Simchat Torah, of course, is the rejoicing of the Torah, and it requires dancing, sweets, a bit of whiskey possibly, if you feel like it, flag waving if you've got one. And Simchat Torah is also, as I said yesterday, it's similar to a wedding celebration. And in fact, the special people who are honored at Simchat Torah are known as either Chatan, which is bridegroom, or Kala, which is bride, of the Torah for the Deuteronomy reader and of Bereshit for the Genesis reader. So, and the Torah is like the ketubah, the marriage certificate, and in some synagogues they put up the chuppah over the table. Maybe we'll try that next year, because that actually is really, really special to do that. And I hope next year also we're going to be able to unroll the scroll and put it all around the hall with the thousands of people who are going to come for Simchat Torah next year. So, of course, Simchat Torah means rejoicing with the Torah, and so that's what the spirit of the day is. It's rejoicing and being happy, and of course we read, Linda's going to read the end of the book of Deuteronomy, and almost immediately Hannah will read the beginning of Genesis to show that it's a never-ending joy to be able to read the Torah, and then we never do want it to end. And so as soon as we finish, we start again. And I don't know about you, but I have favorite books that I read every year. So again and again, I will read those favorite books, and Torah is a bit like that. So we're going to start on page 437, our festival morning service, and welcome to everyone who's here. Welcome to those of you on Zoom, and welcome to anyone who is joining us on the live stream. So let's stand up for Ma Tovu. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Please be seated, everyone. Are you ready to do the kitchen prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Stephen, do you mind sharing the last 3 pages of the screen share with us? And Joseph's going to explain what's happening now.
It's traditional on Shmini Atzeret to insert for the first time in traditional liturgy the prayer for rain in the Amidah. Now our Amidah has that all year round, but there's a special prayer in the Amidah which talks about water, and talks about all biblical figures that were blessed or had dealings with water, and we call upon their memory in the hope of rain. It kind of makes sense that just as we've left the sukkah, now we call for rain. This would be a perfect time. Now we're going back inside. So hopefully we can see the words. It's quite an interesting, rich mythological text that we're gonna do. So this is Tefillat Geshem, or part of it. Can we get that up on the screen? Because it would be more interesting if it can be shared, I think. Okay, let's go.
Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Zachor HaMimshah HaKarecha KaKamayim V'rato K'et Shatul Al Pagemayim Gananto Histal Tomesh Umimayim Rashto B'za'ol Kol Mayim Zachor Hanolad B'Vasarat Yadar Namad Mayim B'Sakta Lohoroshat Takatol Ishpod Amo Kamayim Ziher Gam Hol Ishpod Lev Kamayim Chafa Umatzah Berot Mayim Zachor Ta'an Maklova Vayaden Mayim Yichad Lev Gar Levin Pebemayim Kenevak Lo Sabalun Meshumimayim Nachyen Yiftato Heyot Imbolet Umamayim Zachor Mashui B'Tevet Kome Min Hamayim Namud Alod Elav Ishkatzon Mayim Zugulei Chate Samul Amayim Aselachak Vayetzu Mayim Zachor Pekishat Tovel Chamesh Tivlot Vamayim Zoei Machitz Kappa B'Kiddush Mayim Korei Umazei Tohorat Mayim Ruchak Me'am Pachas Kamayim Zachor Shnei Masa Shvatai Yehivat HaMizrat Mayim Shehivtak Namo Merhirot Mayim Tolotam Nishmat Damam Aleha Kamayim Tevek Nafshenu Afu Mayim Shatahu Adonai Eloheinu Mashiv Harach Umarir HaGeshem Lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 Livracha v'lo likala amen lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 L'chaim v'lo l'mavet amen ya lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 Sov v'lo l'ra'atzon amen.
Oh, gosh, that was great fun. Thank you. Thanks, Joseph. And as Joseph mentioned, it's also not only Simchat Torah today, but it's also Shemini Atzeret. And I don't know if anyone read the weekly newsletter, but we don't really know what the meaning and purpose of Shemini Atzeret is. In the Torah, it says that Sukkot is 7 days, but then Shemini means eighth, and it's an eighth day of Atzeret, which either means conclusion or assembly. But there are none of the normal Sukkot rituals that take place on Shemini Atzeret. So we don't dwell in a sukkah, we don't wave the lulav. And so probably that's why both in Israel and in the progressive communities, they've put Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah together. So in our Masorti community, they'll be celebrating, or they'll be marking Shmini Atzeret this morning, and then they'll be doing Simchat Torah tonight and tomorrow. So if you haven't had enough of dancing with the Torah, you can go to our Masorti friends. So we're going to turn over now to page 453. 453 for Psalm 100. Harim. And we turn to page 456. Would you please rise for the Baruch Hu? Let's read together. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, Maker of light and Creator of darkness, Author of peace and Creator of all things. In your mercy you give light to the earth and all who live on it, and in your goodness you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. We praise you, O God, Creator of light. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer ha'ma'orot. Ahava rabba ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla gedola v'tera chamalta aleinu. Avinu malkeinu ba'avur avotenu shebatchu v'cha. V'atalamdem chukei chayim. Kein techonenu utalamdenu. V'tein b'libeinu lehavinu lehaskil. Lishmoa lilmod ulelamed. Lishmor v'la'asot ulekayem et kol divrei toratecha be'ahava. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha. V'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha. V'yached levavenu le'ahava u'liyir'a et shemecha. Kivanu v'acharta liyachedcha be'ahava. Baruch ata Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'isharecha.
Laman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kadoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim להיות lahem le'Elohim Ani Adonai, Adonai Emet.
Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words now and forever. The everlasting God is our sovereign, the rock of Jacob is the shield of our salvation. Eternal God, you redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו,
Na 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 Adonai. Hananana sefavtai tiftah. Hananana ufi yagi. Ufi yagi tehilateha. Hananana Adonai. Hananana sefavtai tiftah. Hananana ufi yagi. Ufi yagi tehilateha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol v'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imaot ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ביהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ויצרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיח משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים נעריצה ונחדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש המחדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך הארץ כבודו, מלך הארץ כבודו.
אדוני אדוננו מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ.
ברוך יבוא אדוני ממך עמו, ברוך יבוא אדוני ממקומו.
ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים ויחון עם המייחדים שמו ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד פעמיים באהבה שמה אומרים
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד
הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי
אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, ודרבותו, הללויה, ודרבותו, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור,
given us a special, please be seated. You have given us a special task among the peoples. In your love and favor, you have sanctified us by your commandments, drawn us near to your service, and charged us to make known your great and holy name. In your love, eternal one, our God, you have given us feasts of joy and seasons of gladness, among them this festival of Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah, season of gladness, to unite us in worship and remembrance of the exodus from Egypt. Our God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of us and all your people of the house of Israel. Grant us well-being and blessing, life and peace on this festival of Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova. Ufochdenu vo levracha. V'hoshienu vo lechaim. Let's read together. Grant, eternal God, that our observance of the festivals may bring us blessing, happiness, and joy. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. And grant, eternal God, that the happiness of the festivals may be with us always. We praise you, O God. You hallow Israel and the festivals. Baruch atah Adonai, Makadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu bi'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam bi'ahava tekabel u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otacha levadacha b'yira na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu le'olam ba'ed. Tzor chayenu, magen yishenu, atahu ledor vador. Nodeh lecha u'nesaper tehilatecha, al chayenu ha'mesorim biyadecha, va'al nishmotenu ha'pekudot lach, va'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, va'al niflotecha v'tovotecha shebachol et erev v'vocher v'tzohorayim. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lacha na'eh lehodot. Our God and God of our ancestors, bless us with the threefold benediction of the Torah. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Amen.
Grant peace, welfare, and blessing, grace, love, and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence, for by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness, righteousness, blessing, and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, or say Hashalom. We'll continue with a few moments of prayer and meditation. And it's that time again of our kind of warm-up dance party. So a bit of a jiggle in our seats this time as we build up to the Hakafot, to the dancing with the scrolls, with the Psalms of Hallel, and which you'll find we'll start on page 468. So let's say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'halel. .474, 474. To the middle of 476, 476.
Even
Come in God's name. Here in God's house, may you be blessed. You are my God, and I thank you.
You are my God, I exalt you.
Time for the main event.
Absolutely. So we turn to the Torah service now, which is on page 504. 504. Happy are those whose way is sure, who walk in the light of Torah. Happy those who follow your teachings, O God, who seek you with a whole heart. Your word is a lamp for our feet, a light for our path. Your Torah is our joy. Happy the people on whom such blessing falls. Happy the people whose God is the Eternal One. Please be seated, everyone. I know that's not what it says in the book, but Anna and I are just going to take a moment to welcome and introduce Linda and Hannah, not that they need much introduction. So the honor of being Chatan or Kalat Torah or Bereshit is given to mark the contribution of individuals who do a huge amount for our community and really do so much to make to give our community the spirit that it has. And our kalot this year, Linda and Hannah, are fantastic examples of that type of commitment, dedication, and service that we're so lucky to have among our members. They are both really devoted servants to the community. And as I said last night, we don't have the Oscars or the birthday lists or anything like this, but this is sort of like the equivalent. And so we get to embarrass Linda and Hannah a little bit. So it's my honor to welcome and introduce Linda. Linda first joined the synagogue when it was Wembley and District Liberal Synagogue around 1977 to 78. She served as a council member, ran the creche during the High Holy Days. Her children all went to Cheder at Harrow and Wembley Progressive Synagogue as it was then, the older two becoming teaching assistants after KT. And Linda aided and advised Rabbi Frank on a new Cheder curriculum, putting to valuable use for the community her years of teaching experience. Linda has been a faithful regular at our services, certainly throughout the pandemic. And of course, I only came on board at the beginning of the pandemic. So that's what I know. And she's been there pretty much every service except when Stevenage steal her away, her other community. She's become a regular Zoom host for our services. Last year, she was elected to our council, and Linda recently joined the Rights and Practices Committee. As I said yesterday, for any one of those things, we could say Dayenu, that would be enough. But in addition to all this, Linda helps to lead lay services. She occasionally produces gender-neutral Torah and Haftarah translations for our visiting rabbis. And she also produces the monthly newsletter via the care group, which goes to those of our members without internet or computer access. One of the most important things, I think, that we do. So I'm kind of in awe and exhausted thinking about all the roles that Linda plays in our community. And we're so grateful to you, Linda, for everything that you do. I'm delighted to honor you as our Kalat Torah, this Simchat Torah.
Which means it's my honor and absolute pleasure once again to introduce Hannah, our Kalat Bereshit. Since joining the community in 1990, Hannah has thrown herself into all aspects of synagogue life. And you said, Hannah, that Harrow and Wembley Progressive Synagogue, as it was a place that you could express your Judaism sincerely and honestly, and you appreciated that women could participate in synagogue life at any level, and you took that very seriously and involve yourself in all ways that you can. Hannah, you've been known for your incredible baking for Shabbat and festivals, for organizing communal seders, sometimes for as many as 150 people. In 1993, you completed your adult bat mitzvah, and you did the Baalei Tefillah course in 2011. Hannah helps to lead lay-led services and helps other members feel comfortable both doing mitzvot and being up on the bimah. As if all that were not enough, Hannah is serving her third year on council as vice chair and can also be found on the care group, where I remembered that I didn't say yesterday, you do the cards for everybody's significant birthdays. And not long ago, about 7 years ago, you retired as chair of the Rights and Practices Committee after a meager 17 years. As well as being a regular at all Mosaic Liberal services and events, Hannah has represented our community in many other spaces, including recently at the special Czech Scroll Shabbat morning service, which was held at Finchley Reform Synagogue. And in past years, you took the Sefer Torah as a gift to Alex Duchovny and his community in Kiev. Hannah's love and dedication for Mosaic Liberal shines through in all that she does. And Hannah, it really is such a privilege to be able to call you up to Torah as our Kalat Bereshit, this Simchat Torah, as just a small token of our thanks to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. So I'm going to invite our Hagba and Galila to come on up. Something to open up. No, it will. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. No, it's it's fine. No. So, yes, I think Kevin and Harry, and who is Galila for? Maureen and Pat. Okay. Okay, so if you take those off. All right, I should have done something. So let's stand up. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Eloheinu, Kadosh Shemo. Ashrechem Yisrael, Ashrechem Yisrael, Ashrechem Yisrael, Asher Bachar Bachem El. V'hinchilchem haTorah, how happy, how fortunate, how privileged you are, O Israel, commissioned to serve God, inheritors of the Torah. So now we're going to go and do 7 hakafot, 7 circles around, and let's give Linda and Hannah a scroll each to do the first hakafah. And then once you've done one circuit, then hand the scroll over to, yes, no, that's Linda's. That's yours. And we've got sweets and we've got drinks. So this is the time to pick your feet up, leave your inhibitions in your seats. Come on. Okay, let's go, Joseph.
Do we need to move the mat out to the way? Or
yes.
possibly my phone if it's there? Just a thought. Just a thought.
Excellent.
Shine.
Oh, yeah. All right. There we are. Okay, so, sweets are going round. We've worn everyone out. So, in the final portion of the Torah, which Linda's about to read for us, we read about the death of Moses and the transfer of leadership to his successor, Joshua. Moses ascends Mount Nebo, from where God shows him the land which will be given to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. the people he's led for the past 40 years. Though he himself will not go into the land, he's privileged to see the place where all he has worked for will be brought to fruition. And we learn that Moses dies al pi Adonai, which is usually translated as according to the word of the Eternal One, but it literally means he dies by God's mouth, giving rise to the tradition that God ends Moses' life with a soft, gentle kiss. According to the Midrash, God weeps after Moses dies, as do the heavens and the earth, and then God buries him. No one is to know where Moses is buried, so that that place doesn't become a shrine and a place of pilgrimage. Moses dies at the age of 120, which of course is considered the ideal age, as we say in Yiddish. Bis 120, may you live till the age of 120. Oi. The Israelites mourn Moses for 30 days, which is the source of the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning in our life cycle rituals, and Joshua assumes leadership. The portion ends with a statement that never again would there be a prophet like Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, who knew God, panim el panim, face to face. And then, as I said, shortly after Linda has read the last word of the book of Deuteronomy, Hannah will start reading the book of Genesis. And in that way, we demonstrate our love for the Torah text and our joy in the Torah, Simchat Torah. So no sooner do we finish it than we start it immediately again. It goes without saying that the Torah is viewed as a means for human and Jewish growth in so many extraordinary ways. And this idea is reflected particularly in the words that we read on Simchat Torah. The last word of Deuteronomy is Yisrael, and the first word of Genesis is Bereshit. And if you take the last letter of the Torah, which is Lamed, followed by the first letter of the Torah, which is Beit, Bereshit, Lamed Bet, that spells out the Hebrew word Lev, which means heart. So like a wedding ring that has no beginning and no end, the linkage of the Lamed and the Bet to form the word Lev, heart, reminds us of the principal aim of the Torah, to shape our hearts and refine our characters, to teach us to incline our hearts towards God and towards each other, and of course, the never-ending cycle of Torah reading, which we celebrate today. So it's my total joy to call up Linda, Nala Amod Yudasha, Leah Baruch Mini Kalat HaTorah. So, let me just... You've got the translation? Yeah. Sorry. As I said yesterday, it's a joy for rabbis to know exactly where the parashiyot are. One's at the end and one's at the very beginning.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher b'cha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Left mine in the bag. V'ya'al Moshe me'aravot Moav, el ha'navo, Rosh Hapiska, Asher al Pnei Yerecho. V'yarehu Adonai et kol haaretz, et Hagilad et ad Dan. V'et kol Naphtali, v'et Eretz Ephraim u'Manasseh, v'et kol Eretz Yehuda ad Hayam ha'acharon. V'et HaNegev, v'et HaKikar, Bikat Yerecho, Ir Hatmarim, Ad Tso'ar. Vayome Adonai Elav, Zot Haaretz, Asher Nishbati LaAvraham LeYitzhak UleYaakov, Lemor, Lezaracha et Nena, Heriticha Be'enecha, Veshama Lo Ta'avo. Vayamat Sham Moshe, Is that right? The first
You were
time?
right
Sorry. Vayamot Sham Moshe Eved Adonai Be'eretz Moav Al Pi Adonai. Vayitbo Oto Vagai Be'eretz Moav Mul Beit Peor. V'lo yada ish et kavurato ad hayom hazeh. Umoshe bin Me'ah ve'esrim shana b'moto. Lo kahata enav ve'lo nas leho. Vayivaku v'nei Yisrael et Moshe be'aravot Moav shloshim yom. Vayitamu yamei b'chi evel Moshe. Bihoshua bin Nun mela ruach hachama ki samach Moshe et yadav alav. V'yishma'u elav v'nei Yisrael. V'ya'asu ka'asher tziva Adonai et Moshe. V'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe asher yada'o Adonai panim el panim. L'chol ha'atot v'hamoftim asher shalacho Adonai la'asot be'eretz Mitzrayim l'faro u'l'chol avodav u'l'chol artso u'l'chol hayad ha'chazaka u'l'chol hamorah hagadol asher asa Moshe le'enei kol Yisrael.
Well done, well done. Brilliant. Translation?
Oh, translation. I did that yesterday as well. I did that at our service as well. Moses went up from the steppes of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the summit of Pisgah, opposite Jericho, and the Eternal One showed him the whole land, Gilead as far as Dan, all Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, the whole land of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negev and the plain, the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Zoar. And the Eternal One said to him, "This is the land of which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will assign it to your offspring. I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you shall not cross there." So Moses, the servant of the Eternal One, died there in the land of Moab, at the command of the Eternal One. God buried him in the valley in the land of Moab near Beth Peor, and no one knows his burial place to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were undimmed, and his vigor unabated. And the Israelites bewailed Moses in the steppes of Moab for 30 days. The period of wailing and mourning for Moses came to an end. Now Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the Israelites heeded him, doing as the Eternal One had commanded Moses. Never again did there arise in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Eternal One singled out face to face. For the various signs and portents that the Eternal One sent him to display in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his courtiers and his whole country, and for all the great might and awesome power that Moses displayed before all Israel.
Well done, well done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Hey. Sweet. Should we do Chazak?
So without further ado, we have finished one scroll, so of course we must start again in the other. And it is a great joy to call up Hannah, who will read from the scroll, but first will tell us a little bit about the parasha. So I shall say, Na la'amod, Hannah bat Moshe Eliyahu umalka, kalat Bereshit.
So that's nice.
A quick apology to those who heard it last night, but at least I've written it out in neat at last.
Has a lot been repeated from last night?
When Queen Elizabeth of blessed memory died, it was said almost immediately, "The Queen is dead, long live the King." And similarly on Simchat Torah, when Moses dies, the Torah's 5 books end and we immediately begin to read Genesis. Continuity is obviously of paramount importance. New beginnings are always exciting, and however many times one has begun reading the 5 books of Moses, we find that Genesis is most people's favorite book. It is the longest running soap opera, full of memorable and controversial characters, unforgettable stories, and many lessons to be learnt, discussed, and argued over. The Torah's version of the creation of the world is not to be taken literally. It is inspired, it's poetic, it's beautiful to visualize, it's good and right, as God says, and in the correct order. God the Creator makes light and dark, heaven and earth, sea creatures, birds and insects, some of which we could do without, all animals, including human beings. Male and female, we are created in God's image in 2 interestingly different versions. And we're given the responsibility of looking after the beautiful world which God pronounced as very good. Looking around us today, there is a huge amount to be done if our descendants are to inherit a world that can function healthily. And most importantly, God created, or rather, God rested on the 7th day, thus showing us how essential it is to keep the Sabbath. And it has been observed that when Jews keep the Sabbath keeps the Jews. I'll be reading from the very beginning of Bereshit to the end of the 4th day of creation, and I warmly recommend that you continue reading it yourselves. There's a lot to find there.
Blessings first.
You're so right. Baruchu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamuvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu, v'choshech al panei tehom. V'ruach Elohim merachefet al panei hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yehi or, vayehi or. Vayar Elohim et haor ki tov. Vayavdel Adonai ben Or uven hachoshech. Vayikra Elohim leor yom. V'lachoshech kara laila. Vayehi erev, vayehi boker, yom echad. Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia b'toch hamayim. Vayehi mavdel ben hamayim lamayim. Vayas Elohim et harakia Yavdel ben hamayim asher mitachat larakia uven hamayim asher me'al larakia. Vayehi chen. Vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim. Vayehi erev, vayehi boker, yom sheni. ויאמר אלוהים, יקבעו המים מתחת השמיים אל מקום אחד, ותראה היבשה, ויהי כן. ויקרא אלוהים ליבשה ארץ, ולמקווה המים קרא ימים. וירא אלוהים כי טוב. ויאמר אלוהים, תדשא הארץ דשא עשב מזריע זרע, עץ פרי עושה פרי למינו, אשר זרע בו על הארץ. ויהי כן. ותצא הארץ דשא עשב מזריע זרע למיניהו, ועץ עושה פרי אשר זרע בו למיניהו. וירא אלוהים כי טוב. ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום שלישי. ויאמר אלוהים, יהי מאורות ברקיע השמיים, להבדיל בין היום ובין הלילה. והיו לאותות ולמועדים ולימים ושנים. והיו למאורות ברקיע השמיים להאיר על הארץ. ויהי כן. ויעש אלוהים את שני למאורות הגדולים, את המאור הגדול לממשלת היום, ואת המאור הקטון לממשלת הלילה, ואת הכוכבים. ויתן אותם אלוהים ברקיע השמיים להאיר על הארץ, למשול ביום ובלילה, ולהבדיל בין האור ובין החושך. וירא אלוהים כי טוב. ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום רביעי. When God was about to create heaven and earth, the earth was a chaos, unformed, and on the chaotic water's face there was darkness. Then God's Spirit glided over the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And when God saw how good the light was, God divided the light from the darkness. Then God called the light day, and called the darkness night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. God then said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it divide water from water." So God made the expanse, separating the waters beneath the expanse from the waters above the expanse. And so it was. God then called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, a second day. God then said, "Let the waters beneath the sky be collected in one place, so that the dry ground may be seen." And so it was. God called the dry ground earth, and called the collected waters seas. And when God saw how good it was, God said, "Let the earth grow vegetation, seed-bearing plants, fruit trees on the earth that bear fruit, each true to its type, with its seed in it." And so it was. The earth brought forth vegetation, seed-bearing plants, each true to its type, and trees bearing fruit, each true its type, with its seed in it. And God saw how good it was. And there was evening, and there was morning, a third day. Then God then said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate day from night, to be markers for sacred seasons, for days and years, and to be lights in the expanse of the sky, spilling light upon the earth." And so it was. Thus God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night, and the stars. God set them in the sky's expanse to spill light upon the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw how good it was. And there was evening and there was morning, a fourth day. I said yes. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yes. So Linda, once again, we have to invite you back up. And Hannah, don't go anywhere. Come closer, if anything. You've not missed anything at all. It's perfect.
So we're going to ask God's blessing on Hannah and Linda now. So let's stand up for this. Mishe Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yivarech et Yadasha Leah bat Baruch umini shenivcheret lehashlim haTorah v'Chana bat Moshe Eliyahu umalka shenivcheret likro ma'aseh Bereshit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmerehen v'yatzilehen mikol tzara v'tzuka v'tizku la'asok b'Torah u'v'mitzvot ובצורכי ציבור באמונה, וישלח להן ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהן, ונאמר Amen.
May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless Linda Pace and Hannah Schlesinger, whom we honor as our Kalat Torah and Kalat Bereshit. May the Holy One, praise be God, bless you and guard you from all trouble and distress. May you be privileged to continue to devote yourselves to the study of Torah, the performance of good deeds, and to the service of the Jewish community. May all that you do in good faith prosper and give you satisfaction. May God bless you and your families with length of days, good health and strength of body and mind, happiness and peace. And let us all say,
Amen. יישר כוחך.
Simen tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simen tov yeheilanu 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 Kol Yisrael yeheilanu yeheilanu Kol Yisrael yeheilanu yeheilanu
We haven't quite finished with the Torah yet, but please be seated. Well, actually, the next one, we're going to do one more aliyah, which is for everyone. So actually, come on, sorry, I'm going to make you get up again and come around the table so that we can all say the blessing together. And then Stephen, if you don't mind sharing with us the next page is there. There we go, excellent. So Hannah read days 1, 2, 3, and 4. So day 5 and 6 is about the creation of animals and human beings, of course. But we're just going to read one more day, which is actually the 7th day, because it's short. And we don't want to be here all day long. So let's all say the blessing together. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach, Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu b'torat hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And I'm sure I shouldn't sing the Kiddush tune, but I'm going to. So join in with me, everyone. It's up on the screen. Vayachulu hashamayim v'ha'aretz v'chol tzeva'am vayachayel Elohim bayom hashvi'i malachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol malachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayakadesh oto Kivo Shabbat mikol mlachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. And the heavens and the earth and all their array were completed. On the seventh day, God completed the work that God had done. And on the seventh day, God rested from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God rested from all the work that God had created to do. Not quite English, but that's what the Hebrew says. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. And absolutely, yeshar kochachem to everyone. Well done, everyone. So I'm going to ask Harry to do Hagbah with that scroll. Sorry. And Kevin.
So just lift it.
That's to help you read what's inside the scroll. You see that?
While we
Text that you
sing
saw is
Baruch
going to go up
Shem
in the air now.
Simchat Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
If you sit down and get that dressed back up, and then Paul is going to Paul's going to read the Haftarah for us.
Just before Paul reads the Haftarah, but come on up, please. I'll introduce it. So our Haftarah today, it's a direct continuation of the Torah narrative that Linda read for us today. So our Torah ends and then we leap straight into this story in Haftarah. So the portion opens this time with God informing Joshua of Moses' death and passing on the leadership to Joshua. So we heard in Torah how Moses lay his hands upon Joshua to say, "You're next." And then God says, "Yes, indeed, I affirm it. You are next," in our Haftarah. God reassures Joshua that just as God was with Moses, so too God will be with Joshua as he leads the people into the land and continues their journey with them. In our explanations of Torah and the festival that we've heard today, we've learned the importance of continuity. Hannah just highlighted to us that not long, almost instantly after Queen Elizabeth died, it was declared, "Long live the King." And as we roll to the end of the Torah, as we've seen and we've heard, we roll it straight back again. And for the Israelites as well, there is no break in their leadership chain either. 3 times God echoes the words that Moses had said to Joshua when handing over the baton. He says, "Be strong and of good courage." The first time when bringing the people into the land, and the second when observing Torah. Leading a mourning people into a new land is not easy. And we hear the third time God reassure Joshua, not just that he should be strong and of good courage, but that he should not be afraid or disheartened, for God will be with him wherever he goes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha b'nbiim tovim v'ratzah b'divrechem הנאמרים באמת. Baruch atah Adonai הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק.
Amen.
After the death of Moses, the servant of the Eternal One said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' attendant, "My servant Moses is dead. Prepare to cross the Jordan together with all this people into the land that I am giving to the Israelites. Every spot on which your foot treads I give to you, as I promised Moses. Your territory shall extend from the wilderness in the Lebanon to the great river, the river Euphrates on the east. the whole Hittite country, and up to the great sea on the west. No one shall be able to resist you as long as you live. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you or forsake you. Be strong and resolute, for you shall apportion to this people the land that I swore to their ancestors to assign to them. But you must be very strong and resolute to observe faithfully all the teaching that my servant Moses enjoined upon you. Do not deviate from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Let not this book of the teaching cease from your lips, but recite it day and night, so that you may observe faithfully all that is written in it. Only then will you prosper in your undertakings, and only then will you be successful. I charge you, be strong and resolute. Do not be terrified or dismayed, for the eternal your God is with you wherever you go. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'navi'im ve'al yom Shemini Hag Ha'atzeret Hazeh. Shenatan lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'sason u'lesimcha l'kavod u'letiferet. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mavarachim otach. Yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Paul. Would you please rise? So in the middle of page 510, Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki niskav shemo levado. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it.
We've heard so many words of Torah today that I'll spare you any more. And we're going to go to our closing prayers, which you'll find on page 520. And just as you've got comfy, of course, I'm going to ask you to please stand. So our liturgy teacher at Leo Beck, who's actually a family member of Hannah's, Jeremy Schonfield, did have a whole discussion about whether or not one should stand for the Aleinu, but it's not one we'll have now, especially as we're all standing anyway. So we'll begin. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגור עלינו לחם bottom of 521. As we worship before you, O God, we think of those who once shared with us the joys and burdens of life and who are no longer in our midst. The sorrow of bereavement is softened by the bond of love which continues to unite us with our dear ones and by our cherished memories of them, which we will always carry in our hearts. May all that was good in their lives remain with us as an influence for good. O God, grant consolation to those who are in sorrow and light to those in darkness. Teach us at all times to put our trust in you and to praise your name. And we'll remember the names of those who we hold dear as we recite the words of Kaddish together. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, v'yalma divrach irutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael, v'gala v'zman karib v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach leolam olalmei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitnuman v'yitnaseh, v'yithada v'yitale v'yithalal shemei tkusha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam ve'imru amen. Please be seated, and Kevin, you're needed.
Hannah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to embarrass you again. So please, would you like to come up here? Does it look surprised because this hasn't happened before, has it? Hannah, a lot has been said about you, but there's even room for more. It's quite pertinent, this service, especially hearing the Haftorah reading about Joshua, because once upon a time I felt a bit of a Joshua 7 years ago when you had led us, for not quite for 40 years, but for 70 years. And I think the words of the Haftorah have been strong, resolute, and that's something you've taught me to be, which I've needed to be taking over. But thank you for your guidance. It wasn't literally a handover. You were with me, especially at the beginning, to see me over the difficulties at first. And you said, Kevin, this won't be too difficult after that. But it was good you gave me the confidence to then introduce my own personality, my own ways into the role. And thank you for your guidance. So you're not quite the Moses because you're still around afterwards, thank God. So thank you for everything, and there's many other hats you wear in the synagogue, and we're just so grateful. So I'd like to present you this certificate, and if you feel inclined, or I can read it. Do you want to read the words? Okay, it'll give me great pleasure. So this is a certificate of appreciation presented to Hannah, and the words here, in honour of her amazing commitment to MLS and her coming up to Torah as Chalot Bereshit, Simchat Torah, 5783 and 2022, signed by Rachel, Anna and myself. Find a good place to frame it.
I must say, last night I was quite speechless. This is something that it doesn't often happen to me, and certainly I wasn't expecting anything at all like this. But I want to say that Kevin took over at a time when we didn't have any clue what would happen to the synagogue. And the fact of the matter is that for the last 7 years, Kevin has handled a very difficult period of time brilliantly, with great composure. He is a very good delegator, and he's taken us through a time without a rabbi, through the pandemic, through not having a settled place to be in, and it can't have been easy. But we do appreciate very much, Kevin, what you've done, and what I hope you will continue to do for some time longer.
Another 10 years.
Another 10 years, yeah.
Another 10 years at least.
Yeah, 10 years, then I'll
Anyway,
consider my position.
thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to both rabbis, whom it is a pleasure to be with, I must tell you. So thank you all very much indeed.
Cheers. So I would now like to invite Linda up. Now, Hannah mentioned in her address about the importance of delegating, and when you've got something like Linda in the community, it makes that role sort of much more manageable, because I've been in situations, I'm acknowledging not everything's always easy. I think, who can I rely on to give me a hand? And guess who's top of my list? And it's incredible. There's helping the Zooming of the services, doing the translations, the gender neutral translations, just being out, I'm not sure what to do for this service, how we're going to handle certain things, to agree to participate in lay services, to do the singing when we're short. But most of what was acknowledged in the address was the newsletter. That is such a valuable tool for our community. There's, I think, 37 members who have not got access to the internet. They're very cut off, especially from the pandemic, and it's continued. And we work together to produce this marvellous publication that keeps our community in touch, and also some members who do have the internet now actually have it. So that is such a valuable resource. So that is there's many things you do, but that's the main one. And it gives me great pleasure to present this for you. Would you like to read it? Or?
Okay. Certificate of Appreciation presented to Linda Pace in honour of her amazing commitment to MLS and her coming up to Torah as Kalat Torah, Simchat Torah 5783 2022. And signed by Rabbis Rachel, Anna and Kevin.
Thank you.
And Hilary, I've got a certificate. We discussed certificates yesterday. Now I've got mine.
I'm going to get him in a minute, but actually, I would just like to say, I would like to echo Hannah's words. If this is the end of autumn manoeuvres, then it has been done under Commander Science, with a little bit of help from General Wolfson, General Benjamin, and General Finley. I think Commander is higher than General, I think. No, seriously, it is a huge amount of work. Absolutely huge, made much harder this year by the fact that we're not in our building, and so we've had to schlep stuff, and Tim of course knows about schlepping stuff, especially last night and today that was big. Schlepping up the stairs at the scout hut, so there was uncertainty, and it was pretty messy, I have to say at times.
Yes, there's no to that.
It was messy at times, but we got there in the end, and I think, you know, it's really a tribute to you, Kevin, that you have managed to sort it in such an incredible way, and that the services have all happened. So mazal tov and well done.
Yeah, and quite interesting with delegating. Normally you don't delegate to rabbis, but I think that's been one of the things I've had to do. So I'm grateful for your support. Okay, okay. Okay, we're just doing the general, we're rounding off our what we call our High Holy Day services, and I want to also give a massive thanks to Andrew. Okay, I won't then. No, I will. The thought of actually having religious service in a rugby club, that was not part of my childhood education on Judaism, and I must admit, when the idea was mentioned in February, rugby club, religious services, but I tell you, it's been worked out under difficult circumstances absolutely perfectly as a venue. Andrew, I'm just grateful for every kind of request, and there's been lots of them. You've stepped up to the mark with catering, the technology, the timing. I apologise. Every time I predicted and time at the end of the service, add at least half an hour on. So just bearing with us with everything and just being a go-to person. We've not complained. Just said, okay, we'll do it. Thank you very much, Andrew. I will share something else. I was actually here Saturday. I thought, I wouldn't mind watching a bit of rugby and seeing the social side of it. And having seen the rugby team play, I think we should introduce a prayer for them because they need all the prayers they can get.
You put money across my bar, mate, and I was delighted. Although I was selling big bottles of wine, and you only brought a small one.
Sorry. Next time. But it's a lovely place to come to, just as a general hospitable venue as well. Yes. So thank you. I haven't finished the thank yous yet. Rachel and Anna, I know what a journey this has been for you, and with all the exchanges we've had, from the solemnity to the joy to the complications. Confused.com could sort of sponsor our services. But I think at the end of the day, we got there. And every service has been exemplary. What's happened behind the scenes? Well, we've had to get together, but we produced between us all. I don't know how many services it's been, I've lost count. And we've had Shabbat services in between to prepare for. And it has been challenging, shall we say. There's at times, but thank you both also supporting me. I've had we all had difficult periods with it, but thanks for being support for me and for the community.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I haven't quite, Francesca's gone. Quiet, Joseph?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. Leading the music. I mean, okay, I'm going to quote Andrew. So we're in the middle of watching a rugby match with his team not doing badly. So Andrew just came up to me and said, I've really enjoyed the singing in the middle of a rugby game. And it wasn't the singing from the services out there. It was the fact that even though you've been in the background listening, that's been, I have had so much positive feedback. I don't know how much you've received direct, but I can assure you that as much as they've complimented the rabbis, sometimes Joseph and the singers have come first. They've said the singing has been absolutely beautiful. I'm running out of superlatives. And for you, Joseph, especially having different people, different dynamics, it has been absolutely spot on. And then also with you had COVID and amongst it all. Somehow, we got there through a lot of hard work. And I'm really, for you especially, thank you. You've got such a 15
for next year. Shall we maybe, ready to conduct, I reckon, by next Rosh Hashanah.
Well, we already just had a banging rendition of Incy Wincy
Great,
twice.
that's good.
Yeah. We're here, aren't we? We are here Saturday. Yeah, again, I have to confirm emails. And it's just when Linda and Hannah think they've got it easy for a few days, it's actually going to be a lay service. I will look, I haven't even looked at it, to be honest with you. I can't multitask that much. But my next is preparing for that for this Saturday. So no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. So we're at the rugby club, so I presume we're finishing with Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
We're not. We are actually going back again to the beginning of our service. We're on page 508.
508. See super simple.
Ready to spin.
Simchat Torah, Nagil van Nassis
Here we go. To 529. May the one whose presence dwells in this house cause love and harmony, peace and friendship to dwell among you. Chag Sameach, everybody.
Chag Sameach, everyone.
And as we head over here for Kiddush, could I ask everyone who is able to please take your chair and pop it up there? Oh, it rhymes.
And thank you so much, Stephen.
Yes.
So he's already gone. And David, it's been lovely to have you with us. Chag Sameach. Are you up there in Nottingham?
Yes.
Okay.
And Andrew, you're welcome to join us for our Kiddush. Yeah.
Well done, Anna. Well done, Rachel.
There's a tree behind. There's a tree behind.
Anyone's left on it.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you. Well done. I got to the end.
Yes. There's going to be.
You have to actually turn down the mic. Any question, one question. So this is the great she's been white for that she's been very good that she kept anyone. I'm a bit more stingy. Right? She's lovely to see you. Why don't you get